Probably the most important element of detailing a drawing is displaying a part or assembly's dimension. When dimensioning a detailed drawing in SOLIDWORKS, it's important to know the two types of dimensions you can use in drawings: driving dimensions and driven dimensions. Here we see examples of both. Although they might look similar, there are some vital differences that differentiate the two. First, let's look at driving dimensions. These dimensions will appear black by default. The color's not important in any way except that it helps us identify them from driven dimensions, which appear gray. Driving dimensions control the geometry they are attached to. They drive the model. For instance, if I double-click this dimension of 2 inches, a spin box comes up and I have the ability to change the dimensional value. When I change the dimension to 1 inch and rebuild, you can see the model change. If I change it back to 2, the model changes once again. So you see that a driving dimension is no different than the dimensions you would use to create this part in 3D. In fact, that's exactly where these dimensions come from. They are directly imported from the 3D model, whether it be a part or an assembly. Because they can be easily imported, driving dimensions are used primarily to save time when detailing a drawing. Now let's look at driven dimensions. As I mentioned, driven dimensions will appear gray by default, so you can tell them apart from driving dimensions. Driven dimensions are for reference only. They're there to tell me the length of an object, but their value cannot be changed to drive the model. If I attempt to double-click a driven dimension, I don't see a spin box where I can change its value. Instead, I only see the dimensions property manager. Instead of being imported from the 3D model, driven dimensions like these are added manually using the Dimension tool. While this may seem like a redundant process, driven dimensions offer you more control in how you want your drawing dimensions to appear. In the following sections, we'll learn how to create dimensions and take a close look at the options that are available with each type. This will help you decide which type of dimension, driving or driven, best suits your needs.